Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to What's Up Wednesdays with the professionals at the Roundtable, always brought to you by Healing Your Way. And please remember, if you love the podcast, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with all of your favorite people. Today, we are joined by some of our favorite friends. Do you guys want to just reintroduce yourself? Make sure everybody remembers who you are.
Hi, I'm Meenal Patel. I'm hypnotherapist, EFT practitioner, and scientist.
And I'm her son. I'm Sahan. I'm going to be working with the Healing Your Way team, and I have been already, but I'm going to school for physical therapy, and one of the other therapies that I'm practicing right now is Traeger as well. And you can also find me on the Friday podcast as well. And sometimes I do make appearances on here as well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me again today. I feel like we have a super topical conversation that we're going to have given the heat wave that has rolled in, how to deal with the heat. I don't know how you guys have been faring. I have not been happy.
No, it's been horrendous because air conditioning's running like crazy and trying to catch some cool air in this heat.
So much
Yeah,
of
same
that.
for me. I went to a water park just the other day, and some people were fainting up the stairs, and they were making
Oh,
their way down. They couldn't even get on the rides because of
mm,
just how hot it was. I think this heat wave, everyone is experiencing it. I
yeah,
feel bad for the people
everyone's
in
feeling it.
Arizona because they're up to like 120, 130 degrees. I can't even imagine what it would be like over there.
Friendly reminder to be thankful for what you have, to be sure. So
Yes,
I
for
wanted to
sure.
bring you guys on today to talk from a professional standpoint about, the dangers of the heat, how to handle the heat, how to stay healthy during heat waves, and especially throughout this summer. Uh, I guess let's start off very broad, but if you could give one person 3 bits of information or advice to survive the heat, your personal 3 favorite pieces of advice.
Um, I'll start first if that's okay with you, Sahan. Or do you
Hmm.
want to go first? You want to go first? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll cover. Let's do it like this. We'll have 3 points, but I'll give one, and then you can go, and then we'll
Oh,
trade
that's
back and
fair.
forth.
Okay.
Um, so I'd say the number one spot that I would put is hydration. And when you think of hydration, people would just think of it as consuming a bunch of water during the hot summer days, but it's actually more than that. What you want to do is you want to also have the correct electrolyte balance in place and be feeding yourself the correct electrolytes along with the water that you're consuming as well. So just water by itself is not enough, and you actually need more. You need a good electrolyte basis. So you can get these electrolytes either through drinks or you can resort to fruits. Um, so the way I would see it, we did a whole entire episode about the different electrolytes, and we went through A to Z pretty much, like a bunch of electrolytes and what we thought were the healthiest and what we thought were the best for you. And pretty much when I think of finding a good electrolyte for myself, I think of finding one that has the correct ratio. Oh, what was that? Oh, Tara, can you hear me fine?
I can hear you
Okay,
just fine.
okay, yeah,
We'll
just making
troubleshoot with
sure.
her on the back end.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's all good. But yeah, like I was saying, what I'm really looking for is one an electrolyte drink or a powder that has the correct ratio. And the correct ratio is going to be well, first of all, the main four electrolytes that you're going to want is sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And pretty much what you're going to want to have is roughly like a 4 to 2 to 1 to 1. So 4 for the sodium, that's going to be your biggest intake and the most amount of milligrams you're going to have. And then you're going to have your magnesium as your 2. And then you're going to have the 1 and the 1 as your calcium and your magnesium.
Mhm.
Yeah, so four for sodium. I'll run it again. 4 for sodium, 2 for let me get it right. Potassium. 2 for potassium, 1 for magnesium, and 1 for calcium. And that's pretty much what you're looking for at the root of it. You want to make sure that you purchase one that has the correct ratios and not ones that
Mhm.
are all out of whack and that are kind of made to satisfy taste rather than need for hydration.
Right.
If that one makes sense.
So if you drink like a ton of water throughout the day, but you're still feeling thirsty, do you think it could just be because your electrolytes are out of whack?
That's exactly why. That's that's pretty much explains the whole reason because what you're losing as you sweat. Um, I don't know if you've ever tasted or licked your sweat before. I have because I've done a lot of sports all my life, and uh, it's a weird story, but yeah. But
Tastes
what
like the
happens is
ocean.
if you even taste your if you have sweat lingering on you and you just taste it and
Yeah.
on your tongue, you'll feel that it's not just water that's coming off of you. It tastes salty. That's because of
Mhm.
all the salts, which are the electrolytes in the water, is what you're losing, and that's what you need to be replenishing in those
Right.
exact ratios.
Yeah. Welcome back, Miss Meanall.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you. What would be your first piece of advice?
Well, he addressed electrolytes, and I agree with that. I'm just gonna add one thing in there. Is mung bean, because Indian people use mung bean a lot. India is a hot country, and mung
Mhm.
bean, we have a lot of mung bean soup. And I just want to bust one myth actually, is that in the summertime you need to drink cold, right? Is what the perception is to cool you off. But if you have something hot, it allows your body, there's heat in your body, so your body will automatically try to cool it off. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I am my friend who's an MD PhD, she always would go in the summertime and have some green tea. I said, "Why do you drink green tea?" She said, I'm hot, so if I drink something hot, my body will start the cooling off process. So mung bean soup is good even in the summer because it will cool you off. The mung bean does it, as well as drinking something hot can cool you. So that being said, um, do you want that to be the thing? Do you have something else to go with, Sahan, or
Oh,
do you
what do
want
you
me to
mean?
continue?
Oh no, yeah, I think I covered pretty much what while you were having the back end issues. I covered pretty much what I wanted to say about hydration.
Okay.
One other thing I did have um one thing I didn't cover is just the correct forms of each of those electrolytes that you should be looking for when you're purchasing like electrolyte beverage or electrolyte powder. And I'm just gonna run them off for the four. So the preferred forms for sodium are going to be sodium chloride, which is your table salt, and sodium citrate. For potassium, you're going to want potassium citrate and potassium chloride. For magnesium, you're going to want magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate. Those are all good options. And then for calcium, you're going to want calcium citrate or calcium lactate. And then um, to round it all off, I also said fruits were actually a good option to hydrate in the summer as well. And I know you might be talking about it in a bit, but I'm just gonna give you a list of fruits and pretty much the electrolytes that they cover. So first we got watermelon. That's gonna give you some potassium and magnesium. Coconut water, which is a super popular drink in the summer. It's cool and refreshing. Unfortunately, I personally am not a fan of coconut, but I know there's a lot of coconut lovers out there. So drink the coconut water, and that right there is going to give you potassium, sodium, and magnesium. So three electrolytes right there. And then we also have bananas, which are going to give you a lot of potassium, as you know. Oranges, we're also going to give you some potassium. Cantaloupe, which is going to give you more potassium. And the list goes on, but I think the ones that I gave you so far are the top choices that I would recommend if you want to really hit those electrolyte goals.
Yeah. I would just add to that. Sorry, Tara. I just want to add that lemon and, like you said, the orange. They both have vitamin C, and a lot of times in the summer you will have things that you need vitamin C for, sunburns, a lot of other things. Vitamin C is good for the healing process.
Yeah.
And it's a great vitamin to have, even in the summer heat.
And I love me some lemon water. Love
Yes.
me some lemon water. Absolute summer staple.
hmm and lemon cucumber mix is really good.
Mhm. Throw
Yeah.
some mint in there.
hmm
Little bit of mint, not too much, not too much though.
Actually, mint is perfect. Mint is very cooling herb, actually.
Mhm.
So maybe if you want to throw some herbs into your drinks along, you can do an electrolyte drink mix. A lot of times I used to do that. I would take water, add some salt in there, and just crush some blueberries and things like that into my water. Kind of have the vitamins, the water soluble vitamins actually leach out of the fruit into the water,
Mhm.
and you just keep this much like reserve water because it becomes concentrated in there, and you just keep drinking it and filling it all day long. And you can throw mint in there. You can probably throw some lavender in there just to add flavor, but these things actually help with cooling in the summer heat.
Yeah. Little life hack for us. So we've
Mhm.
covered hydration. We have lots of good tips. We have good things to look out for when we're looking for electrolyte supplements, right? Powders, additives, drinks. What would you say is your all-time top two recommendation
For
Uh,
drinks or something else?
just for
Mhm.
surviving the summer heat?
Okay, go ahead, son.
um, I would say I would say definitely an electrolyte drink. The one I liked from the episode we did with when we were taste testing all of the different protein powders and electrolyte drinks was the boba protein one. It had or the boba protein company, and they have an electrolyte powder that's flavored with lychee and also mango green tea. So I really like those two options. They taste really good and they're like really refreshing to me in the summer. And they had what I was talking about, the correct ratios of all of those four electrolytes, that they're in the correct balance. And they also were not using any um crazy artificial sweeteners. They were using good artificial sweeteners like monk fruit sugar, stevia, and maybe erythritol or allulose. They were not using things like sucralose or aspartame, any of those negative things. So I would recommend that one as my number one. And then number two, I'll go with the fruit. I would say watermelon because I think it's just the go-to summer fruit and it really is refreshing and hydrating at the same time. And I think it's one of the best tasting fruits in my opinion. So I would have to go with those two.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree with the watermelon. That is my top fruit to go to for summer. And but what my preference is the fruit infused water that I was just talking about, where I can just throw some berries, which are great, and they're antioxidants in there. So just strawberries, raspberries, blackberries are great. I find that if I'm low on energy, not feeling so well, I'll just have some blackberries. And if you
Mhm.
just crush some of those blackberries in your water, it really makes a huge difference for me. When we went on a trip in Hawaii and I was not feeling well. And of course, it was hot and sunny. We're going on a hike that Sahan here wanted to go on. And I said, all right, let's go. And along the way, we found berries. And I just started munching on these berries that we found, you know, before my hike was over, the one way down to the waterfall. I was already feeling better. And I was amazed at how much better I felt just by eating those berries. And I knew it was the berries that I ate that helped me. So, for me, adding berries to water, adding a pinch of salt, and flavoring like mint or something, that is my go to. I like that.
Yeah. So we know what to stay stocked up on this summer. I
Yes.
know one thing that I feel like a lot of people are worried about right now is like heat stroke. Heat
Yes.
stroke.
Mhm.
Is there any way, I mean, I know we talked about hydration and how important it is, but is there any other tips and tricks to help avoid it? Any way to treat it if you do get it?
Mhm. Son, you want to go?
No, I think you could take this one. As far as heat strokes,
Okay.
I don't think I'm too educated, but I think I can still provide some. I think if you started off first, I can probably think of some things that
Okay.
you
We'll
put in.
piggyback.
So, being a holistic health center, there are many things that healing your way can do for you for heat stroke. First of all, acupuncture is great. So, these are things that if you don't know what to do yourself, you can come in and look for a practitioner. Nate therapy, which is a Nambudripad's allergy elimination technique. Interestingly, it's great for summer heat. And then all the foods and things we mentioned, right? Electrolytes, among bean and all that. Gua sha works really well. Gua sha is a technique you can do on your at home. You know, you don't need to come into the clinic if you know how to do it. You grab some Tiger Balm, and Tiger Balm has a cooling effect, right? It's a little, it feels like it may have a heat effect, but it also has a cooling effect. And if you just, you can even use your bare knuckles, right? Put some Tiger Balm on your back and just use your knuckles and just go like this down your back. You know, your skin will turn red, but that's releasing heat. So if
Mm,
you have a heat stroke, you want to get rid of the heat in your body. Your body is basically overheated. Now
right.
you have to find ways to help your body release the heat, right? So doing gua sha is a great way to give an outlet for your body to release the heat. So I gave you a bunch of remedies there. Yeah, I think these are, sometimes people feel taking now cook oatmeal bath can help with multiple things.
Hmm.
You know, Epsom salt bath will help you, you know, because you are using the salt to detox from all the things that are happening in your body. And um, maybe I don't know the exact temperature. Maybe when we have Danny Coyne back on, acupuncturist, Dr. Acupuncturist back on, then he can give the recommendation for it. But uh, Epsom salt bath, oatmeal baths, because we'll end up with insect bites too, you know, and these things will help.
They are the
For,
bane of my existence.
yeah. So, you know, here are a few remedies that I can tell you about for heat
Please.
stroke. Yeah. Either come in or do some gua sha, use some Tiger Balm. Make sure to cool your body. You know, for my kids, and if I don't have anything, I go to the pharmacy and they have Be Cool packs. I don't know if you've heard them. Basically, like imagine your body's having a fever, right? And you just stick the
Right.
Be Cool pack. So you can do the same thing with ice. Put it on your forehead, put it on the back of your neck to cool your body off and release the heat. That's what I have for you.
Yeah. Any hidden knowledge, Saad?
Not as far as heat strokes, but um, I would say I would have advice for like heat exhaustion or heat exertion because I played soccer and especially in the hotter months, like it was a struggle for me. The one thing I did notice is that conditioning my body for the heat actually helped in the long run. So this kind of goes with Dr. Jack Cruz's principles. Um, I've seen that this after reading about it, I've now realized that his kind of priming or preconditioning for prolonged sun exposure actually helps not only like how you feel when you're outside in the sun for like long periods of time, but it also helps your skin as well, of course, especially with people um, having sunburn as one of their main fears of being outside for too long. So pretty much what he recommends is, when it's like getting warmer outside, getting hotter outside, just in the mornings, wake up during the sunrise, look directly at the sun, do your sun gazing, but also have it come in contact with your skin as well. because that's what's going to trigger melanin production. And melanin is pretty much your body's built-in mechanism for protecting yourself against UV sunlight. That's not to say that UV sunlight is bad. UV sunlight actually is the thing that triggers melanin production in the first place. And by being inside and by using SPF or sunscreen, you're actually limiting UV absorption in the body, which we don't want to do at all. So what I would suggest is, if you know you're going to be outside in the summer, if you know you're going to be working outside in the summer a lot, just get used to the feeling and conditioning of it, and make sure you start slowly, and you're starting at the early hours of the day, and then slowly progress the amount of time that you're out there for, and eventually you'll kind of get used to it, but it won't be in the sense that you think of you're actually doing it the right way by doing that. And then also I'm gonna um restate the whole hydration thing. Hydrating properly actually, during the summer for me has still and always will be the number one thing for me. It's literally stopped me from having exertion headaches. I especially had exertion headaches in the heat and with long games. I know it's like a lot to people for like making sure they're constantly drinking water. Of course, you don't want to be over consuming, but just realize that if you're going into an event or activity where you're going to be losing a lot of sweat or a lot of water, just make sure you're prepared and you have enough on you just for the day or for the period, so you're not falling behind, because once you are dehydrated, your energy tanks, and once your energy tanks, that leads to many other issues like heat exertion and even to the extremes such as heat stroke.
Right.
Mhm. I'm gonna add one thing to this, Tara, actually, is because when you have a heat stroke, it's just like you're having a fever in your body as well. You're just not sick with a virus or
Mm.
anything like that. So I'm assuming, and Dr. Danny Coyne can correct me if I'm wrong, but you can use the same points as you do for fever. And they would be like on the outside, here's my arm, the outside crease of your elbow right here. If you press on that point right there, that should help relieve like it reduces heat in your body. So reduce, if you have a fever, it'll reduce your fever. Another point is right here on the same side, right on the outside of your wrist, right here. Because whenever we're sick, he'll pull out his gua sha tools and scrape right at the end of the elbows for releasing fever, and right at the wrist on the outside of both hands, to reduce the body temperature. And that should help a lot. And you can do this at home, you know, just to reduce heat in your body. And another thing that I forgot to mention was aloe.
Mm.
Aloe is great. Just rub it on your body, instant coolness, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
aloe. And that actually leads me into my next thing, because you both have mentioned two of my least favorite parts about the summer, which is sunburn and bug bites.
Yes.
I could certainly go without, but coming from a professional point of view, is there a better way to combat it than just rolling with the punches?
You want to go, Sahan?
Yeah, so I guess I can speak more about the sunburn. It's pretty much like I just suggested about the kind of conditioning and starting off slow with your sun exposure, starting early in the day when UV light is not too intense, but it's still there, so your body is able to adjust and adapt and start melanin production. And once you start slowly incorporating morning sun gazing and morning sun exposure, your body's gonna adjust by producing more melanin. And at a certain point, I think people will understand. You'll see your skin start to tan, and you won't feel as hot or as stingy type of feeling when you're under the sun, because you have the melanin with you. I know a lot of times the first time, sometimes this is definitely not a good method. But what would happen if I'm on a vacation or something is, especially this happened when I was in Hawaii. The first day I was out in very hot weather, and I got sunburnt. I peeled, but after that first peel, my body adjusted, and after that, I was exposed to the same levels of UV, and I lazily did not put on sunscreen. But now I know it's a good thing that I didn't use it. But even without putting sunscreen after that first peel, I was completely fine, and I had no reactions, no sunburn at all. And like I said, I was under the same intensity of UV light, if not more intense, because the days after I was burnt, it only got progressively hotter over there.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, let me add to what Sahan is saying, because if you go to these tropical places, right? For example, India, oh, Indians don't get sunburned. Cambodians, we were just in Bali. Uh, they're naturally dark. They're out all year long. There's no such thing as sunburn, but their skin is darker and they don't get as impacted by the sun in a negative way because they're conditioned to it already. But also, skin cancer is not a big problem in those countries for the same reasons. They're exposed to the sun, they're already conditioned, their melanin is protecting them from skin cancer. In this country, everybody's so big on using tanning oil, or not tanning oil, sunscreen, sorry, before going out is the big thing. Maybe big pharma has conditioned you into believing that adding sunscreen to your body will protect you from the sun and cancer. Uh, if you look at every country that's right in the equator zone, right, on both sides of it, Africa, India, Indonesia, Hawaii, they're all dark skinned. Nobody has to worry about skin cancer. Nobody there you don't sell sunscreen in India. There's billions of people. Skin cancer doesn't happen from being out in the sun. Maybe it's from not eating the right diet or some other things, but not from sun exposure. So that's something strange that people believe in a country like USA. And so being out in the sun is definitely good. If you're out too long, what people do is they'll say, Spanish people, they take siestas, right? And that's important. You don't go out in the hottest part of the day because it gets pretty hot in those areas. In India, people work a lot in the morning and they work in the evening. In the afternoon, take a break. And in India, what we do, which helps your stomach as well as your body, is eat yogurt. You eat plenty of yogurt and it's very cooling for your entire system, you know? So these things are important to remember, just for the whole experience of summer heat, sunburn, everything. You can actually even put yogurt on your body to cool you off. Okay. I think it should help with your sunburn if I'm not mistaken. So if you got sunburn, you can use some aloe, you can use some yogurt, um, you can use gua sha. Well, no, actually, that's not. Maybe the tiger balm might help you. I used to use Noxzema. They said it helps with sunburn stuff, but I don't know if anybody even knows about it anymore. But the reason is because it has some menthol in it and eucalyptus in it. you know so sunburn, you want to cool off, your skin is hot, find a way, jump in a pool, you know jump in a pool, get cooled off, take a nice cool shower. That will help you a lot, and those things will help your sunburn, but condition it slowly and you don't have to worry, like Zahan said. Then there's no such thing as worrying about sunburn. Today I was talking to somebody, or I don't know when it was, but Karina's always dark, and so are my boys because they're outside playing soccer all year long. People don't go out in the winter enough in this country. So we're not conditioned so much to the sun,
Mhm.
and that is important. As for insect bites, I've been watering my backyard and the plants every day, and I have so many bites on my body. But oils, peppermint oils, lemongrass. If you see bugs are never on those plants because they're natural remedies. So you can put tiger balm on, you can put uh, peppermint oil, or you can put lemongrass oil on your skin before you go outside when there's a lot of bugs outside. Oatmeal. I used to use chamomile lotion for bites. You can use oatmeal baths. That helps a lot. A lot of times I get bit and I go inside, I grab the tiger balm and I just rub the area and it releases the toxin from the area and it feels better right away.
Mhm.
This is the things that I do for insect bites. I'm sure that there's oh, here's one thing. Toothpaste. Toothpaste
Toothpaste.
is Yes, toothpaste is good for many things from insect bites to sunburn, by the way. I didn't know if you knew that because toothpaste is minty. It's sticky and pasty, so it'll stay on wherever you apply it. And it actually has a cooling effect, just like when you're brushing your teeth,
Mhm.
right? You feel the coolness when you are using toothpaste. It does the same thing. You can use it for insect bites, you can use it for sunburn.
Mm.
Yeah,
Seeing
I've heard
as
people
this
use it for like even acne. I might be wrong, but I think I've seen it
No, I've
on
seen that.
some. Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen
So
that.
maybe it's the same concept.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and also as the queen of getting both sunburns and skeeter bites, just holding an ice cube on a bug bite feels real good, and doing a little
Yes,
ice roll on the cheeks when you get a
very true.
sunburn, that feels real good. Um,
Mhm.
so we've got, which one did you say? Lemongrass?
Lemongrass, yeah.
Lemongrass oil? I've heard
Mhm.
of peppermint. I think that's the first time I'm hearing of lemongrass. I think I do
Oh,
enjoy the
yeah.
smell, so I'm just happy to hear it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We've got a lot of lemongrass plants, and in fact, if you want to keep lemongrass insects out of certain areas, you just plant lemongrass there.
Mm,
Yeah.
now I have an excuse to garden.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but if I spend too long in the heat, if it's a hot room, if it's my car taking too long for the AC to kick in, I start to get a blaring headache, to put it very gently. It's almost debilitating. I don't know if you guys get that, if it's just me, if there is a good way to deal with that, but I would love some insight on it.
Mhm. Son, you have something?
Yeah, this is when I get those type of headaches, it's the same type of headaches that I get while I'm playing sports outside. It feels like very closing and collapsing, and I feel like I can't think much, and the rest of the day when I come home from it, it's kind of hard to recover from. And yeah, it's gonna sound redundant, but I really think the things that have helped me so much are being well hydrated before going into those training sessions. Um, I think you just have to know what you're going to do throughout your day and where you're going to be. If you're going to be anywhere remotely near in the heat, and if you know you're a person that sweats a lot, I tend to sweat a lot. That means I'm going to lose a lot of electrolytes and a lot of water as well. So you just need to be constantly replenishing what you've lost, because electrolytes are really required for all functions of your body, the electric current your body has, which is then coherent with your energy levels and your headaches as well. So electrolytes, even though it's something that seems relatively simple to do, it's one of the most important things that you need. And not only just in the heat, you need it every day, but consumption is going to increase as you're losing more and more.
Mm,
Mm. Yeah, it's very true. So just let's talk about the science for a minute of the whole process of what happens when you're outside exposed to the sun, and what happens and why you sweat so much and you lose the all the water and stuff. So just understand, right, that you're being heat up. And if when you're being heat up, your body, it's kind of like the sun's doing its own detox on you. Okay. Why do you sweat? The sweat pulls out. It's a natural way for your body to pull out the toxins from your insides, right? And water helps release the toxins. So when you sweat or you're exercising, you're releasing toxins from your body. So when you're outside, you are spending energy and you are releasing toxins. You're sweating. You may even have like tears coming down because things are salty and you're just, everything is flowing, right? All your body fluids just start to flow and they're coming out. And if you are hydrated enough in your body, like he just said, when you're hydrated enough and you lose water, right? All the toxins that need to come out. And now you have enough liquid inside to manage whatever's left, or you've cleansed in a good way, right? And you're hydrated. But if you're not hydrated enough and you've released a lot of water with some toxins, imagine why you end up with a headache. Your headache is there because there's an imbalance somewhere. There's toxins left somewhere. There's stress created somewhere, right? And when that kind of thing happens, a lot of times your stomach becomes off. There's not enough water in there to balance things in your stomach.
Hmm.
And then your stomach gets sick. When your stomach gets sick, you get a headache. Most of the time, people think, oh, I got a headache because I'm focusing on something too much, or they don't understand why they got the headache. Maybe it's a stress headache. A lot of times they've got a headache because their stomach is off. There's too much heat in there. What if that was cool? What if that was balanced? And there's a lot of toxins that your stomach processes because you're eating food, it takes in foreign substances, right? Now, if you don't have enough water to flush that out, it just sits there and then it gives you a headache. If I eat the wrong foods, I end up with a headache. If I eat too much gluten, if I eat dairy and it doesn't sit well, fried foods, I get a headache.
Hmm.
So in the summer, when you're outside in the sun's trying to help you detox your body, right? As you know, I don't know if you remember, it was a fad back then where if you really want to lose weight and detox, you go in one of those Mylar bags that heats up your body and you lose weight and fat and everything.
Hmm.
That's what the sun does, right? It helps you release fat and things like that in your body, which is great because it's speeding up or heating up your metabolism. But if you're not giving enough water to flush everything out, now you're sitting around like a lump of toxin, right? Now you got a headache. Now you're not feeling well. Now you're feeling sick. So if you stay hydrated enough, like he's saying, and you give yourself enough minerals that your body needs for balanced function, you're going to feel good, you're going to feel healthy, and you're going to be okay outside in the sun. You know, sun gives you energy. Sun is life-giving force. Sun, without the sun, we don't have fruits, we don't have vegetables, we don't have food. So it is a good thing. We want to be out there. It helps us and gives us life force energy as well. We just have to know how to work with it, you know? And lots of water and making sure we eat well. So when we actually go out there, we don't get sick. And so that's what I wanted to say for is that what we were talking about for just heat in general?
Yeah,
Sorry, I went
yeah.
into the science. I got a little lost
No,
there.
I appreciate the science, and I also feel like it's very important to highlight the aspect of diet within all of this.
Yeah.
I definitely come from a family like these past few days where it's been 100 degrees. We get
Mhm.
takeout. We are not cooking. We're not turning on the stove. We're not turning on the oven.
Yeah.
We're getting takeout. They can bring it here.
Yes, that's
And
for sure. And that's where you got it. You go outside in the sun after you got all that takeout and not realizing what you put in your
mhm,
body because you didn't make it, you know? And then all of a sudden you've got a headache. That's what we're talking about, headaches in the summer, you know? Peppermint cream for your headache, peppermint oil for your headache is great. And the same, Tiger Balm has the same stuff in there, you know, and Tiger Balm and peppermint oil. Do some gua sha on your neck and put some Epsom salt. I'm sorry, not Epsom salt. Tiger Balm right at your nose, and you'll be able to breathe in, and it'll open up your sinuses and it'll open up your head space. So that's really helpful for headaches. Also, cold compresses and
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
and any yeah, and anything that'll settle your stomach,
Mhm.
because like you said, that's, you know, we just talked about diet and stomach is a huge deal.
Oh, 100%. Son,
Yeah.
do you have anything to add?
Yeah, especially with the stomach, I've noticed, even though this doesn't align with all of our holistic practices, but I do take Pepsid, because I just find that my in the summer months sometimes my stomach is heating up and it's just too intense or too acidic. So I take a Pepsid to kind of balance out the pH in my stomach and have it be more settled instead of too acidic, because it being too acidic creates the headache for me. And I've just taking a Pepsid in the summer is just something I've noticed has helped me when I've felt like on the extreme side of
Mhm.
um, headache or something heat exertion related.
And you know what? It doesn't have to align with everything holistic because we're healing your way.
Exactly.
Correct. That's right.
I
That's
I
perfect.
I do wanna also get a little bit of insight because I feel like everybody at one point in their life has gotten a heat rash, like those red little bumps, the sweat trapped under the skin. Everybody's
Mm,
afraid to talk about their heat rash because I feel like it's something that they're embarrassed about.
mm,
I get them on my chest very regularly.
mm,
It is embarrassing if my shirt starts to, like, do a little tug down. Have you
mm.
guys experienced this? Is there a better way to combat this than just waiting it out?
Yeah, son, why don't you go for it? Because you must have had heat rash playing sports, right?
Actually, no, I don't
Mm.
really recall. I
Uh,
maybe if you recall when I have, but I don't remember having any type of redness at all in
Usually,
certain areas.
yeah, just think about it. Right at the crease of your elbows, right at the back of your knees, you know, the place where your sweat pools, and it's just a crease there, so it doesn't release. Um, do you remember any of those times when you've had that?
Um, not not really. Just the only time I felt any type of rash during the heat was during, like, I guess kind of like what you said, like during the creases sometimes at the back of my knee, because I guess it's just too hot and it's just friction against each other. But
Yes.
nothing like Tara's mentioning about like on the chest or on any open exposed areas. I haven't personally experienced
Mhm.
heat rashes in that sense, but yeah.
Okay, so talking about heat rashes, what I recommend is aloe. Aloe is great. It's cooling, and it's not greasy. You know, it's nice. It's very hydrating. It'll just dissolve into your skin and not leave a greasy feel. And you'll feel cool for a while. And you can keep reapplying aloe as many times as you want, you know? So I find aloe to be very helpful because it takes away irritation. If your irritation is painful, it depends. There's also aloe with lidocaine in it for pain. If you're not feeling more irritated with that, you can use that. But plain old aloe, I find, is amazing for what you're saying. And I'll just recommend the toothpaste again because it would be great for the rash. Um, but it's not something you want to walk around having toothpaste on your shirt. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Um, remember, Tara, back in the day, I say back in the day because they took off baby powder, I believe, from the shelves. right?
Is it like
Uh,
talc or something?
yeah,
Mhm.
but that used to be easy to use, and that's what in many other countries we had powder. You just put powder on, and it helps prevent the rashes in your armpits, in your knees. um, the thing that is available on the market, but it's called butt paste. I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's an ointment, right? But
Mhm.
it kind of has the talc feeling. So if you put it on, it helps prevent the rash feeling, and it prevents the scraping in that area. If you have if you have the rash on your shirt, and you put I mean on right on your chest, and you put the shirt on, and it's going to rub against, and it's going to irritate you. If you put just some of that on, and it should help you and keep you from making that worse, and it should calm down your rash.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole body antiperspirants that are out right now?
My God, that is the worst thing on the planet. Why? Why, Tara? Like there's not enough toxins out there. Why not just lather yourself with something? And because these antiperspirants have aluminum in it, and they
Mhm.
have a lot of stuff that's not good for you, you know?
And especially,
No, go
um,
ahead.
especially you're putting it on one of the most sensitive parts of your body, which is your sweat glands. And a lot of things pass in and out of those sweat glands,
Good point.
um, whether internally going in from inside your body to out, or outside from your body to in. Those are going to be one of the key places that you absorb any type of substance. So you're really affecting yourself when you're putting things on your sweat glands that shouldn't be there at all,
Mhm.
because that's where that's one of the places of maximum absorption.
Yeah, I feel like
And
that's a thing most people don't think about.
say that again.
I feel like that's something people don't really think about when it comes to their health is something as little as their deodorant.
Yeah, you're correct on that. Because I can't. When people make fun of Indian people because they say, "Oh, it smells like you got onions in your armpit," but the thing is that Indian people don't wear deodorant because it's unhealthy for you. You know, it's very even Germans. I find a lot of Europeans don't wear deodorant. So it's not just Indian people. I'm saying it out loud, but that's what the impression is, right? What, but if you're living a healthy lifestyle, you're not using those things. It's not about being body odor free. It's more about being natural, right? So like Sahan said, you're affecting your sweat glands, and like we talked about, you release all the toxins from your sweat glands, right? So if you're blocking the release of toxins, and the stopping the detox happening in your body, so now you're holding all that toxin in your body every time you put,
Mhm.
you know, deodorant on. That's disgusting.
What I
Don't,
would,
yeah.
uh, what I would recommend, just because, just so you don't smell, and like, I of course it's more about maintaining health than of course thinking about things like body odor. But of course you don't want to be smelling like crazy when you're going in public and stuff. So one thing I actually would recommend, um the thing that's bad about the deodorant and antiperspirants is the antiperspirant, as well as the artificial fragrance that all of the deodorants and things have. So um to kind of swap out those artificial fragrances, I would go for oils, like essential oils that are going to have a nice smell to them, and that are also going to be deodorizing as well. And then the thing though, by itself, sometimes the essential oils can be a little harsh. So make sure you're picking one, something that's not like rosemary oil that's gonna really irritate your skin a lot. And I would kind of take a few drops of that. And this is gonna sound a little weird, but this has been like trending kind of lately. Um, Beef tallow, which is also aka beef fat. Um, when they manufacture it and you can get it from places as moisturizer, it doesn't really smell like much at all, but it's pretty much acts as a moisturizer and keeps all like your pores kind of locked in, or whatever the moisturizer is supposed to do. It acts as a moisturizer that can help you reduce sweat and reduce odor as well. And you just add a couple of top drops of the essential oil to beef tallow, and I think they also you can also mix in honey in there as well, just a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what the honey does for your skin, but all I know is if you want to have a good deodorant, all you really have to do is find some beef tallow, get some a scent of your choice with the essential oil, and then have the honey in there as well.
Yeah, there's one thing I used to do was I used to make an Epsom salt, coconut oil, and baking soda mix. And I used to make that. See, coconut oil is antioxidant and antiviral, like it will help keep you clean, antibacterial. It has the antibacterial properties, and baking soda takes away odor. We all know that. And Epsom salt is great for your body. So I used to blend it all up, half and half mix of Epsom salt and baking soda, and I would basically just like, instead of soap, I used it to shower with. It was amazing the feeling I felt, and I didn't even have to come out and moisturize. And my body, talk about full body deodorizer. Technically, it is because the baking soda stuck on where the oil stuck on, right? And it was great. Only thing is, I stopped doing it because coconut oil is one of those oils that when it cools, it hardens a bit,
Yeah.
right? So I probably need to use maybe olive oil or some other oil instead that remains liquid. But coconut oil is great to make deodorants with. Coconut oil, um, uh, baking soda, and essential oils, like Sahan said, very easy to make a deodorant right at home. You just keep your deodorant stick or buy one and trash the and manufactured deodorant and make your mix and just pack it in there and use that as deodorant. Because when I was using that, I really didn't need deodorants and things, you know. And even now, whatever deodorant I use is natural. There's no, it's aluminum free, is BBA free, it's a PFE free. There's a lot of things that are not in there. So you got to watch out for that. Yeah.
And deodorant, not antiperspirant, is the key, right?
Yes. You
Letting
got it.
everything.
Yeah,
Very
and
important.
also if you think about the two examples we just gave, she gave examples of oil, and I gave an example of fat, and that just kind
Yeah.
of shows you fat itself, or lipids, are water repellent. So you're pretty much, when you're putting it on the glands area, you're helping with the sweat as well by keeping all the moisture locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just not too much because it's not too locking in. Enough for you to perspire, but not
Yeah,
enough
you
for
don't want to
you.
clog. You don't want to
Yeah. Not
clog your
enough to
pores
clog.
and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
anything that's gonna leave you um that you're um yeah, that you can't perspirate and that you can't sweat, but
Mhm.
it's still like reducing it by using that is a good thing, especially when you're in a professional setting or where you have to be clean and
Mhm.
have good hygiene.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we covered a lot of summer tackling tactics. Trademarked. No, it's
For
not.
sure. Yes, definitely.
So I do want to thank you guys again so much for coming and joining me today on What's Up Wednesday with the professionals at the Roundtable. Fingers
Thank
crossed I
you.
get to see you guys again very, very soon. Again,
Yeah.
this is Professionals at the Roundtable, brought to you by Healing Your Way. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of the places, and especially on Rumble. If you love the podcast, please don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, do all of the things. We love you guys so much, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.